at first Man Down was only going to be like a small social media video that I put on Facebook for 10 minutes just to help people out. And then it wasn't until I had one interview down, then the next and the next, and then it just progressed into a full feature-length film, which I'm really passionate about, and it was just incredible.
Welcome to the Bailiwick Express podcast. My name is Matthew Leach. I'll be joined each week by a guest for a series of podcasts. Each will shine a light on topics from across the Bailiwick. The format will change week to week. We'll have debates, reviews, hot seat interviews and special guests. So stick with us as we offer some insight on some of the most important issues we in the Bailiwick face. The topic of mental health continues to be discussed with more transparency and openness, but this hasn't always been the case. A local documentary filmmaker wanted to make sure that with his films, people would feel more comfortable coming forward and sharing their stories and struggles. Gaz Papworth has followed up his award-winning documentary Man Down with UnMute, which continues to focus on mental health and the social issues that cause stress and unrest in our lives. We spoke to Gaz about the premiere this week, the people he spoke to, and the future of Element Films. Welcome to the studio, welcome to the podcast, Gaz. Thank you so much for coming in. I thought it was topical and relevant to have you in this week because, of course, you had your premiere of your new documentary. We'll start with that. How did it go?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. I was very anxious because obviously when people start coming through the doors, when you know it's happening and, right, this is my film, people are going to see it, and the response I had from it was just incredible, and it was just incredible. I loved every minute of it.
How many people were there?
I don't know offhand, but I think at least 218 people.
And you've got a few more showings, of course, coming up. And where is it being played?
It's at the Performing Arts Centre. So there's still tickets available on the 11th and 18th of May this month. At 7:30 it starts, and tickets can be bought on guernseytickets.gg. Of
course, this isn't your first documentary. I mean, you've probably spoken about it to death at this point because you told me you're a bit tired and it's been a bit of a week. But once again, refresh us. What is it about this time round? What's the difference between this and Man Down?
So I did kind of revisit Man Down slightly. I went back to certain areas that are quite important. Depression, anxiety, PTSD, and suicide, which is very, very important right now to cover. But also with UnMute, I wanted it quite a diverse topic. So there's all different areas in there. So there's cyberbullying. There's also a section on COVID, how the NHS nurses and doctors and healthcare team in general dealt with it and how they're dealing with it mentally, which is very, very powerful and interesting to see. There's also eating disorders in there as well. There's racism. It covers all areas basically. Yeah, it's really, really fascinating to watch, and watching on the screen it was just incredible.
And so you say it covered, because of course it was delayed because of our second lockdown. Those issues that are in it, I'm guessing, are still very relevant now.
Yeah, obviously it was delayed because of COVID, our second lockdown, and obviously people in the UK are still going through it, so we kind of forget what the UK and around the world are like because we're very fortunate not to be in a lockdown at the minute. We can only imagine what people are going through, and my documentary covers that and how relevant it is at the minute that people are struggling with their own mental health due to COVID-19 and lockdowns and so on.
And what started you on this journey of developing and creating documentaries like this?
I've always had a passion for filmmaking since I was 15 years old, and as I've got older I've gained more confidence to go down that route of filmmaking, and telling stories is something I absolutely love to do. It's my passion and I just absolutely love it. And myself with mental health, I've touched base on it myself, and I've had my own experiences in the past which I've now dealt with, and I wanted to combine the two together and create something magical. And with my own experiences, I've been there, I know what it's like, and if I can help somebody with my film, if they can see it and then they can get the help from that, that's the main thing. If it helps one person, that's all that matters.
And you say you've got plenty of people to share their stories. Who was involved? Who did you contact?
A lot of people had a lot of trust in me from obviously seeing Man Down, so that was great. And I just put an announcement on Facebook and said, look, if you have a story you'd like to tell, please come forward. And I was really surprised how many people actually came forward. It was really impressive. There was all different backgrounds.
You said you got a couple of people from the NHS.
Yeah, I put an announcement on Facebook, and thankfully people came forward through that. And because of COVID, I couldn't get to the UK. So my cousin in the UK, who used to work for the BBC as a camera operator in the early 90s and early 2000s, he said, right, I'll do it for you. You just tell me where. And then I had to pay him, and he drove up to the locations and then did it all for me and then sent it back, which is brilliant because it saved me going to the UK and having to isolate.
And so once this has all been brought together, all these different stories from people across the British Isles or everywhere else that you got them from, what did you want people to take away from it when they see UnMute?
Just to be kind and listen, really. You never know what someone's going through. Hopefully through people seeing my film, they can learn a lot from it and take away from it that, you should always look out for the signs in people if they're feeling down or not talking or something's not right, just to really just help those people. And through my film, I'm hoping to educate and hopefully people can take something away from it.
And so, sorry for my own ignorance, why UnMute? Is that because you want people to talk?
Yeah, pretty much. I think with mental health, people kind of hold it in a lot and they don't want to talk, so I'm giving people the option to talk, so I thought I'd mute them so they could talk.
And so you love, it's great to hear somebody who loves filmmaking and documentary making and this kind of thing. You've done something that's very close and personal to you. Do you have what's the plan for next? What's going to happen now?
I'm not too sure, really. I mean, I think I might stay away from the subject of mental health now and move on to different areas. At the minute, I'm just going to take a bit of time out after this and then, get the notepad out and begin something again in the near future because, I just love being creative.
And so did Element Films, this is your company?
Yeah, I mean, it's not my full-time job as much as I'd love it to be. But yeah, it's my brand that I go by. Yeah.
And did that get developed over the course of the two documentaries, or was this something that you had beginning?
I mean, it's always something I had in the beginning. When I first started off, I wasn't really known at all. It's just a name that I came up with. And then it just grew from there. And it wasn't until I moved back from the UK that I started getting more into filmmaking. And then people start to get to know my name. I mean, now I do a lot of weddings and corporate videos and stuff. So, yeah, that's the direction I'm going down, as well as documentary making.
And so, if we go back to the beginning a little bit, then before Man Down, what made you want to? When was that moment when you decided I'm going to make a documentary about mental health? Yeah,
so I moved back to the island in March 2017. And I was going through a really rough patch of my own after leaving the military and the passing of my mother, who sadly passed away suddenly. So I was really in quite a low place, and I invested a lot of equipment at the same sort of time. Thankfully, from some money that my mum left me behind, I kind of bought all equipment as well as everything else I needed. And I just thought I really want to create a documentary. I've experienced this myself, and filming's my passion, so I thought I'd give it a go. And at first, Man Down was only going to be like a small social media video that I put on Facebook for 10 minutes just to help people out. And then it wasn't until I had one interview down, then the next, and then it just progressed into a full feature-length film, which I'm really passionate about, and it was just incredible.
Was there a certain catharsis to doing it and talking to people who potentially had similar feelings to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it really did help me, actually. I was quite surprised how many people have experienced the same, really. And it did help me mentally as well, because I knew that I was helping other people, so it kind of gave myself peace in my own head, really, that I'm knowing that I'm helping other people from my own experiences.
How much response have you had?
From UnMute?
Yeah, from UnMute, from people that you've, spoken to following.
Yeah, they were really, really impressed with it, and they absolutely loved it, yeah. It was great.
Have you got a response from the people who were in the film?
From UnMute, yeah. They came up to me on the night of the premiere, and they just said, thank you so much, I really didn't expect that, and you've done an incredible job. Even Gavin St. Pierre came up to me, because he's in the film as well, and he just said how incredible it was, and thank you so much. And
so you talk about, I mean, I don't know much about filmmaking. I love the idea of creating something that good, and it's amazing that you did. I mean, what's the process? I mean, how long did it take you to create UnMute?
UnMute roughly took me about 8 months, and I'd say about 2 months of that was sitting down editing. Filming was quite difficult, but thankfully I was given a room at Rocket's Hotel, which they let me have for the course of, I think, about a month. So I was in that time space. I was getting interviews like pretty much every day, whenever I could really. And from then I got all the interviews. I sat down, watched every single one. I wrote notes down, took bits out that I needed from it. It was really, really tiring, but at the same time I loved it and I couldn't stop. And it was really hard work on my partner as well, because with a two-year-old it's quite difficult editing, and
it's keeping you very busy.
It's that work balance and the editing. It's just really difficult, but yeah, it's great.
How many stories have you got in? How many people are involved?
I think in total, I can't remember off the top of my head, I think there's about 16 people in there with all different stories. But they're all in sections though, so say depression, for example, there's probably say like 4 people talking about the main subject. So they're all like in there, have their own little bit.
And so it's split up in depression, and what else is discussed then? Other interviews?
Yeah, so like I said, eating disorders. I got a lady there who talks about her battle with bulimia, and that was really good. I got STEM, who talks about racism as well, with a guy over here called Josh. 2 black guys are talking, and then their story is really, really powerful. Yeah, that was really, really good to have that in there. And social media as well. I've got again a lot of people talking about social media and the danger of social bullying and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good.
Did you find that these people, was it quite easy to interview them? How did they want to tell their story?
Yeah, they really did. And I was actually surprised how relaxed a lot of the people were. As soon as I hit record, there was no awkwardness there. They just opened their hearts really and spoke, and it was true and it was raw, and that's exactly what I wanted. And yeah, it was absolutely perfect. I was really, really proud of them when they did that. One thing I have learnt from producing both these documentaries, that it's okay to talk and help each other out. If somebody's looking down or upset, please do help them out, because you never know, one day that could be you in that situation. You just need that help, and yeah, it can really change somebody, push them through the next step.
It's quite impressive that you can manage to make a change with a film. It's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
So if people want to see it again, or see it for the first time, what do they do? So
you can either go to the Performing Arts Centre and purchase your tickets on the box office there, or you can go on guernseytickets.gg. Again, it's the 11th and the 18th of May 2001 this year, and it starts at 7:30.
And if people want to revisit Man Down, can they do that as well?
Yeah, of course. I've actually put that on YouTube for free, because I just want to help as many people as possible with a free platform, so people can go onto YouTube, and all you got to do is type in Man Down documentary, and it's there, and it's free.
And was Man Down the first documentary you ever did?
Yep.
Brilliant. So I can't wait to see what the third one will be. Do you have any topics at the top of your mind, or are you not sure? Is it you're giving yourself? I suppose it's quite fresh at the moment.
I'm really looking at the minute, covering the history of Guernsey, like the war stories over here. So I'm really starting at the minute doing a project called Sterling's War, which covers a story of a RAF pilot that he parachuted onto Leeuw Island, and then he made his way along a causeway to somebody's house and got help, and then got captured by the Germans and taken off to prisoner of war camp. So at the minute I am covering that story and this reenactment, acting and all sorts. So yeah, that's probably cool.
Is that for a film that you're doing yourself, or is that in tandem with somebody else?
I'm working with Tim's Guided Walk, who does the guided walk history tours around the island. He's really clued up on his history. So together we're working to produce this. And again, this is going to be a freebie that's just for everyone to see.
And is this a film or a documentary? What kind of?
It's kind of like one of those war documentaries that you see on TV, where it's a bit of reenactment and people talking and in real life interviews of what happened and everything. So it's combined of everything really.
It's called, what's it called?
Sterling's War.
Brilliant. How did that come about?
Well, I was on Facebook and I saw Tim posted about the actual story, and then I contacted him and said, look, I'd quite like to make that into a sort of like a documentary / mini film. And then from there we just got chatting, and then we got Dave Hyatt, who's the actor, and we managed to get realistic RAF pilots uniform. So we've got the life vest and everything. It looks proper, authentic and real. And then we just went down Leeuw Island and started filming it, and it's really cool.
When do you think we'll be able to see that?
Probably next month, I'd say. Yeah, it'll be finished.
Oh, That'd be great to keep an eye out for.
Yeah.
So you'd like your career eventually to be in film proper?
Yeah, I'd love it, but
Not that it isn't proper now, but I mean your full-time job.
I'd love it too, but in Guernsey it's very difficult unless I was to take the leap and move to the UK. But at the minute I'm very stationed here with my son and my partner. I mean, so yeah, hopefully one day something will come up.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Bailiwick Express podcast. The title track was Shift My Weight by Luno. If you enjoyed it, I know it's a pain, but please like and share. It all helps, and remember, you can hit bailiwickexpress.com to stay right up to date with whatever is happening in the Bailiwick. You can find us online, on social, on email, and on internet radio. There'll be more from me, Matthew Leach, and all the Bailiwick Express team next Friday.